Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 4 video. Tonight's video, this is my second video of the day. I usually do, multiple uploads every single day, and we're going to talk about the Swordfish best class setup, because the Swordfish is a gun that, if you're into burst guns, which if you're a fan of the Black Ops series, the M8 may ring some bells as being a super duper strong burst gun. In this game, they're not actually called assault rifles though. Guns that are burst or semi-automatic, anything other than fully auto for an AR is basically under the category tactical rifle, and I think that this is one of the strongest tactical rifles. I really think the Swordfish is amazing, and obviously when they put a gun unlocked at level 55, that is going to be a strong gun, right? So if you want to keep this gun through the prestiges, you'll probably have to use a unlocked prestige token on it. I think it's worth it if you are a fan of burst guns. This is a 4-round burst, and with the potential to be a 5-round burst, which we're going to talk about in today's video. Let's drop a like. Let's go for 1,500 likes. You guys' support has been amazing, and I'm trying to get through all these class ups. Then of course I have more videos, tip videos, update videos, patch notes, a bunch of stuff to cover in this game, and I'm going to be covering Black Ops 4 because I love this game, and I'm playing it a lot. I'm having a lot of fun, and I feel like I'm really finding my groove in class ups, and that's what we'll talk about today. So drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new and not already subscribed, and let's get right into it. So this one is going to be interesting because I know a lot of people are going to have varying opinions on the Swordfish, and this best class setup is just my opinion, right? You guys can take my class setup, build off of it, maybe change a couple things. I'll even give you guys some options of things you can change, but let's talk about it first of all. So yes, this gun will kill in 2 bursts pretty much every single time, which is 3 bursts if you miss some shots, 1 burst if they're weak, but 2 burst is, I wouldn't say pretty much every single time, actually, I'll take that back, but it'll kill for 2 bursts the majority of the time on a full enemy. Anywhere from 1 to 3 bursts is where you should be killing, but the majority of the time it's going to be 2. If you miss some shots, it's going to be 3, right? So that's pretty good. In other CODs, you might say, oh, a burst gun that can't 1 burst is bad, but you got to remember in this game, it's 150 health up from 100, so that's 50 extra HP, which is a big deal and really changes the way this game is played. So first of all, you have the option of, and I'll have multiple gameplays in this video, of me showing it using the red dot, me showing it using the default scope. Now this gun doesn't have an iron sight or a default sight like other guns. It has a scope that comes built in with it, and you'll see on the next gameplay here in about a minute or two, it'll cut to the next gameplay, and you'll see the other scope. Now, personal preference it comes down to here. Now, I think that the default sight that it comes with is great for long range, but I find that on a smaller map or a map where you're going to have to be, more up close with enemies, you probably want to swap that out and go with either a red dot or a holographic. Me personally, I go with the reflex, and because I just feel like on a map like Slums, which is my favorite map in the game, this weapon is usable, right? And you play back, you play the long angles, you take the shots at them, but with the other scope, I just feel like that one is a bit too intense, and it all comes down to personal preference. Obviously, using the default scope would be better because then you have an extra point, but the way my class setup's complete, if you are not to run a red dot, maybe you can throw a secondary on it, but I recommend the reflex scope. As far as attachments, I run 2. Now, I know what everyone's going to say. First of all, the operator mod. Now, this gun, operator mods are available when you max out each weapon, and they're available on certain guns. Some of them, they're just not too great, like the bayonet for the Vapor, you probably won't need to use too often, but this one actually has one of the stronger operator mods in the game, and that is the Penta Burst. So it changes you from a 4-round burst to a 5-round burst. Now, does this make a difference? I feel like the biggest difference this makes is instead of getting 3 burst kills sometimes where you miss shots, those extra 1 in each burst will hit and you'll get 2 burst kills. Now, the reason why I do not use the operator mod is cool and it's fun to use, but I do not use it on this best class setup, and the reason why is to turn on an operator mod, it costs, you have a pick 10 system in this game, right? So you have 10 different things you can pick. It costs 1 point to pick the operator mod wildcard, and then an additional 2 points to equip the operator mod Penta Burst. So that's 3 points going into one attachment. I just think that's such a waste when you could get like 3 perks out of that, or at least 2 perks. I really don't think that's the way to go. And what I run with this thing is, because there isn't stock available, I run just a traditional red dot, or you go with the default sight. And then as far as my attachments, I run 2 attachments. One is quick draw. The reason why I run quick draw for a longer range gun is because I don't have a secondary. This gun isn't the best at close range, and when people surprise me or come up on me at close range when I'm, holding down an area, I need to be able to snap on targets quick, and I find that quick draw is something that will allow me to win some gunfights up close, especially when I have the red dots a lot easier. That's why I run that. And then my second attachment, only 2 attachments on this gun, and then the sight is going to be long barrel. Long barrel is, thinking back to the M8 in Black Ops 3, just an absolute monster. I would run that thing with a red dot, long barrel stock. This is basically a similar setup, except there's no stock, so I run quick draw instead. Similar setup to Black Ops 3, I would say, in the M8 with the Swordfish class, and that's what I rock. Long barrel will, like the Pentaburst, it will help you kill people in less bursts, but long barrel only takes 1 pick 10 to pick. Putting on the Pentaburst takes 3. So that's my mindset behind that. Now we get into the gear. Gear on this one is, of course, going to be acoustic sensor. I don't see any reason not to run acoustic sensor on this thing because it just is so damn strong in this game, especially on a gun where you're sitting back a little more. Acoustic sensor is the way to go. Now I run perk 1 greed and I run 2 third perks. Because I'm not running the Pentaburst, I have the availability of 4 perks total here. And I run 2 perk 1s. And the 2 perk 1s I run are Flak Jacket and Tac Mask. So this class setup is awesome because of that, because that really allows me to not worry about the biggest thing in this game is that people don't like is either the increased health, which just takes a while to get used to, but the specialist abilities that people don't really have to work for them. You basically get them free over time in a game. You get them quicker if you're playing the objective or getting kills and stuff like that. I believe that's how it works, but they can kill you, and there's not much defense to something like the nuke or the dog rushing you. But the biggest defense against a lot of those specialist abilities is Flak Jacket or Tac Mask. Flak Jacket counters some of them, War Machine, Cluster Grenade, blah, blah, blah. And then you have the Tac Mask, which counters other ones. You know, the Seeker Car, just a bunch of just other ones. I can't even think about them off the top of my head. But you guys know there's a bunch of BS in this game. 9 Bang, it doesn't completely counter it, but it sort of makes it more resistance to it. So Flak Jacket, Tac Mask, I can basically sit in an area, and that's how you're supposed to play with the burst gun. This is for controlling B, for anchoring the spawns, for doing something like that. And they're going to try to nade you. They're going to try to specialist you out of that area. And having Flak Jacket and Tac Mask allows me to sit there pretty safely as long as my health is looking good. Second perk. Now, second perk is where it's up for option. With the second perk, it's either between lightweight or Skulker, and this all depends. Like I say, Skulker can be sort of a makeshift stock. It's not nearly as good as stock, so don't think that when I tell you that. It's like half as good, maybe a third of as good as stock, but when you use Skulker, it allows you to move faster while crouching and prone. That can be good for a gun like this, so I would go with Skulker if you're going to be set up, and if you're on a map that's a little bit bigger and you plan to be moving around a little bit more, I would go with Lightweight. That is one that I honestly can't decide, and when I make my class setups, I take my time, I test out the guns, and I try to make the best class setup for the majority of players and people watching this video that are going to be able to perform well with this, that are going to be able to do well with this class setup. And I really think that for the majority of players, you're probably just going to want to go with Lightweight, but definitely give Lightweight or Skulker a try and pick your personal preference there. And then as far as my perk 3 with this gun is going to be Dead Silence, because I have acoustic sensor, because you're going to post up with this gun. You see me, I'm posting up in this side trailer. Sometimes I'll post up in the top tin. Sometimes I'll post up in the wood by A. You know, that's how you play this gun. You're not supposed to run into the spawn. First of all, in this game, you're not supposed to run into the spawns or you're going to get wrecked because of the increased health and it's harder to get multi-kills. Plus, being that streaks are the key to success and you want to stack the streaks. That's another thing to do as well. But with this gun, with a burst gun, this is made for distance. You're going to beat guns at distance. You might even be able to beat the ICR at distance. And you're definitely going to be able to beat most ARs or tactical rifles and pretty much every single SMG at range without even a problem. So that's what this gun is made for. Now, do I think like I say, assault rifles are the best guns in the game right now. SMGs are extremely weak and need a buff. And the thing with SMGs is, they're just, it's weird because the maps sort of fit towards SMGs. A lot of these maps are small to medium size, you know, Summit, Slums. These are SMG maps. Even Fire and Range was kind of always an AR map, a little bit of SMG action, but Summit, Slums, those were always SMG maps in previous CODs, but on this game, of course, those being from previous Black Ops games, on this game, I find myself using an AR that feels like an SMG, like the Vapor or the Maddox or something like that on this game. So do I think that, as far as gun balancing goes, and there was a patch that they put out earlier today, but it basically just fixed bugs and added their sort of Black Ops Battle Pass sort of thing, which doesn't look to be too cool at the moment. I think they're going to upgrade that, and of course, we know how Treyarch and Call of Duty do. They take a while to get the game going, and then, and there's what I'm talking about, the dog. I don't think there's any counter for the dog at all. Maybe Cold-Blooded or Ghost, I'm not sure. But this dog will just eat you up over and over. That thing is so strong as well. But yeah, definitely I think that they're taking their time, and they're going to resort the guns. Do I think tactical rifles need a buff? Probably not. Tactical rifles are pretty good. ARs are pretty good. It's just the SMGs overall. And I think the reason why the SMGs are weak is not because they program them to be super weak or anything like that. I think just the adjustment of being with 150 health and, you know, SMGs at range, it was already hard to kill someone that had 100 health. 150 health is just an absolute struggle, but I think those will be buffed, and then, of course, there will be even more, you know, stuff to talk about. But that's how these games work. The meta is always shifting. For now, the Swordfish is a great gun. The biggest downfall of this gun is that the fact that it is unlocked to level 55, and you're going to have to waste or not really waste if it's worth it, but use a prestige token if you want to bring it through. If not, if you just use the level 55, get used to it and test it out. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. Have a great night, and I'm out. Peace. There's also a default class with the Swordfish if you guys want to check that one out. Peace out.